Kallstadt, Tong, Trump. In this video, we reveal the connection between the incoming US president and villages in remote corners of Europe.
I'm Charlotte and I'm here on the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides, on the trail of Donald Trump's mother's Scottish heritage.
I'm Hendrik, I'm in the southwest of Germany and I'm standing in front of the White House. Not the White House, of course, but this is the home in which Donald Trump's grandfather grew up. We'll see if we can find any traces his ancestors might have left, as well as any relatives who might still be here. But first, what do people here actually think of Donald Trump?
Also das sage ich lieber nicht öffentlich, nicht unbedingt.
Er ist ein verurteilter Verbrecher und er ist ein notorischer Lügner.
Also nicht sympathisch.
I think it's cool, because I don't live here anymore. And then whenever I tell people where I'm from, I say, Donald Trump's mum's from here. She's just up the road from me. I know where her house is.
Yeah, I suppose somebody from the Isle of Lewis being an American president is quite something, I suppose.
I think they try to forget it.
It's about Donald Trump and his heritage here on the island. We're talking to people about Donald Trump's heritage here on the island.
Rather not.
Here too, it seems Donald Trump is divisive, in spite of his attempts to get into the islanders' good graces. In 2008, he visited his mother's old house, but just for a couple of minutes. Charlotte is headed to Scotland's Outer Hebrides. On the Isle of Lewis and Harris is a hamlet called Tong.
This is an island of rugged coastlines and dramatic landscapes. 3 hours by ferry from the Scottish mainland, it's known for its harsh and often unrelenting weather. It's a world away from the life of a US president.
Just over 500 people live in Tong and about 10 times as many sheep. Until 1930, Donald Trump's mother, Mary Ann MacLeod, also lived here. At the age of 18, she fled poverty to the US. Now relatives are said to inhabit the house where she was born. Will Charlotte meet them? Kallstadt lies in a not quite as remote part of southwestern Germany, about 100 kilometers south of Frankfurt. This town of about 1,200 people in the midst of wineries and vineyards is where Donald Trump's grandfather grew up. Friedrich Trump lived in this house until 1885. And then he moved to the United States. I would have liked to take a look inside, but the current residents didn't want to talk to me. Trump's grandmother grew up in the house right next door. The couple met when Friedrich returned to Germany and married in 1902. A few years later, they moved back to the US. Time to enjoy a bit of local hospitality with genealogist Michael Wolf. He's traced the history of the Trump family in Kallstadt back several centuries.
Und zwar werden die Kallstadter in den umliegenden Gemeinden traditionell als Bruljesmacher bezeichnet. Ein Bruljesmacher ist ein Angeber, Aufschneider oder ein Großmaul.
Even if meant as a term of endearment for Kallstadter, it seems reminiscent of Donald Trump. Do many of his relatives still live here?
Das heißt im Klartext, dass alle klassischen Kallstadter mit hier schon länger ansässigen Familien garantiert irgendwann mit Donald Trump verwandt sind.
Back in Tong, Charlotte waits to meet Donald Trump's relatives, but sadly in vain. Nobody here seems willing to talk about their famous American relative. Are there any similarities between him and the inhabitants here?
It's the spirit of the island's community, 100% community. I don't see a community born in Donald Trump's body. It's all about him and the prestige and what I can do and what I can't do, and you will do what I say. That's not what Lewis and the islands is all about.
There's a lot of hidden pride, but pride comes before a fall.
However, in the region of Rhineland-Palatinate, I have found someone. In a village near Kallstadt, Ursula Trump, a distant relative of Donald, has been baking for decades and not just bread. I see you are offering the Trump cakes again. Sometimes she makes the cake with a special topping.
Das ist ja super. Obendrauf dem Donald seinen Kopf. Wenn man nicht möchte, macht man runter und isst ihn. Dann ist er weg.
Being a blood relative doesn't mean having to share his views.
Ja, da ist halt Großmaul vor allen Dingen.
The cake is delicious, even if Trump is not to everyone's taste.